It's time for folder 2 of autographs from Angel, Buffy, Firefly and Serenity, Heroes, Lost, Game of Thrones, Primeval, The Walking Dead and True Blood. Ahoy hoy everybody, and welcome to the next in my videos looking at my autograph collection, and we're still on my 10x8s and we're moving on to folder 2 of my TV autographs from the shows I've just listed in the intro. And let's get straight on. So first up we have Alfie Allen, best known of course for being Theon Greyjoy in Game of Thrones, brother to Lily Allen, an accomplished actor. Met him at Collectomania in Milton Keynes. He was relatively shy but very nice. We joked because he had a reputation for spoilers, and I told him that I hadn't seen the latest series yet, which I hadn't at that point, so not to spoil anything for me, and he laughed. Next up was at the same Collectomania, and this is one of my many autographs from the lovely Natalia Tenner, one of my favourite people. So she plays Osho in Game of Thrones. She was also Tonks in Harry Potter and has done lots and lots of other things. This is her with her band Molotov Jukebox. I really liked this image, so I printed it off to get it signed, and she was extremely happy to see it. And she put to Martin so much bang. Thank you for your support. Love, Natalia Tenner, or Natalia Tenner rather. I was wearing my Molotov Jukebox t-shirt at this event. And before I'd actually had the chance to meet her that day, I was walking around. It was at the football stadium, so I was walking around the concourse, and suddenly I heard a "Yes, mate!" And she ran up to me and she just gave me a huge, great hug. This was also at the same Collectomania. This is the legend that he's Malcolm McDowell. He's in this folder for his part in Heroes. This is him in Oh Lucky Man, which is a wonderful film. I had a brief chat with him about. He was quite quiet. I don't really know. I didn't really was able to even form an opinion of him, but I was really happy to have met him. This is another one of him in more recent times. And again, the same event. This was Geffen Anthony, who plays, if you've watched any of these videos, you know I'm useless with character names. But he's one of the, no he's not. Yeah, he's one of the Baratheons. It's not Stannis. It's the other one. He'll be on the screen. But he was very nice. A nice, short but nice meeting with him. This, again, was at the same event, I'm pretty certain, and I'm hesitating because I've completely forgotten his name. Henry Cusick? Is it Henry Cusick? I think it's Henry Cusick from Lost, and I really can't remember his character name because it's so long since I've watched Lost, but I had a really nice chat with him about how when his character first appeared I really wasn't sure about him, but by the end he was one of my favourite characters. This is another Natalia Tenner. This was second time I met her, I think. That was at London Film and Comic Con. And as you can see, I got a Harry Potter photo signed that time. As all my meetings with Nat have been wonderful. This was the first time I met her. This was at earlier Collectomania, back when it was in the shopping centre. That was when I don't really collect Harry Potter autographs apart from really big characters, or characters I particularly like. But when Nat was announced for that first Collectomania I met her, I wanted to meet her because on the DVD and Blu-ray and 4K, I presume, of Order of Phoenix, she does a behind-the-scenes tour of the studios, and I just really, really liked her when I watched that, so I decided to meet her. And then when I met her, there was just something about her and I just completely fell in love with her. This is Christian Nairn, of course, Hodor in Game of Thrones. This was at London Film and Comic Con a can't remember which one, to be honest. It was back in the Earl's Court days. Once I got over the shock of his Irish brogue and his facial tattoos, he was a really nice guy. This is Lena Headey. This is the second time I met her, I think. Second or third. Can't remember which. Yes, definitely second or third time I met her. I really liked this series of Game of Thrones promo shots, the black and white ones. I thought it was a really nice image, so got that one signed. Cersei in Game of Thrones, obviously, but if you've seen book 1, you'll know I've long been a massive fan of Lena's. This was at the same London Film and Comic Con. This is Sarah Wayne Callies, I think is her full name. The pronunciation might be dodgy. And I've totally forgotten her character name because it's so long since I watched Walking. I stopped watching The Walking Dead when they stopped showing it on Channel 5, which was a series 3, I think. And I've totally forgotten her character name, so I will put it on the screen. But she was very nice. Same event. They had Norman Reedus, who of course plays Daryl in The Walking Dead. He was an experience. He was very nice in the very brief moments I had with him, but he was very busy, and there was very much a production line to get through. He would spend a little bit longer with the females than the males, but not in a bad way. But yeah, it was nice to have met. Again, the same event. This, of course, is Tyrion Lannister himself, Peter Dinklage. Again, he was very, very busy. I think this is, to date, I might be wrong, but I think to date this is his only convention appearance in the UK. And he was suffering with his hand sometimes, so he kept having to take breaks. But I managed to get him just as he came back from a break, and it was meant to be no personalisations. No, that's a lie. No, it wasn't meant to be no personalisations. I forgot. At that time, I was fortunate, and he was personalising, but he did have to keep stopping because of his hands. But he wrote to Martin and signed it, and then I complimented him and, said how nice it was to meet him, etc., and how brilliant he was on the show. And he added the cheers once I'd spoken to him. But yeah, happy to have met him. I think this is all at the same London Film and Comic Con. This is Clive Russell, who plays Blackfish in Game of Thrones. I liked his choice of colour, the orange pen, although it's not the best. It's, lots of see-through bits in the signature. But he was very, very nice. We actually chatted about a series called, and I forgot what it was called, and I'm desperately searching through my DVD comedy DVDs, but I think it's hidden. And it was called Happiness. I was close with Happy. Yeah, he was in a series called Happiness, which was a BBC Two comedy drama starring Paul Whitehouse and lots of other people, including Johnny Vegas and obviously Clive. And it was about a group of friends. I'm not selling it very well here. Paul Whitehouse's character was a voice-over artist who his main job, he did a kung fu bear, but it's just about him and all his friends and the stress of turning 40 and all that. It's difficult to sell, but it was a really good series, and I did 2 series of that, and I spoke to him about that, and yeah, we had a really nice chat. At the same event is Joe Dempsey. So he is Robert Baratheon's bastard who got together with Arya briefly in the last series. Gendry, something like that. I'll put it on the screen. In Game of Thrones, this is him in the wonderful series The Fades, which is what I mainly chatted to him about after I let him go off for a wee before he came back to me. He was desperate. He said, "Do you mind waiting?" I said, "No, of course not." So he ran off and had a wee. But yeah, we had a really nice chat about The Fades, which I think is one of the greatest series that's ever been on TV. This was at, I think it was Winter London Film and Comic Con, or whatever they were calling it at that time. But this is John. His name's just gone out of my head. John. It's not written on here. Bernthal. This is John Bernthal, who at this point was best known for being Shane in The Walking Dead. I complimented him that the series hadn't been the same since his character left, which is what I felt. And nowadays he's probably better known for being the Punisher. But yeah, he was quite quiet but very nice. This was a Collectormania. This is Jeff Keggins with a K. It's a funny name, which is why I can't remember it. Oh, I do wish they'd go back to the days of printing clues to the name on the back. Jeff Kober. It's Jeff Kober, who's been in lots and lots of things. This is him as Rack in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He actually played a couple of characters in Buffy over the years. He was very nice. There's a quote, "You taste of strawberries," from his scene with Willow. But yeah, it was very nice to have met. This was also at Collectormania, probably the same one. And this is Roger Ashton Griffiths. This is Roger Ashton Griffiths, who played Mace Tyrell, I think it is, who was Marjorie's father in Game of Thrones, and he's done so many other things. He was really nice. We ended chatting about the theatre, and he asked what my local one was, and I said the one I mainly go to was the Mayflower in Southampton. He said, "Oh yeah, I've played there. Lovely theatre. Place is a shithole though." I said, "Yes, it is." This is Noah Taylor. This is him as Locke in Game of Thrones. I've been a big fan of his for many years. He made lots of good Australian films in his youth. What was the one he was in with Tandy Newton called? Flirting, I think it was called. That's an excellent film. He's been in so many other things since. Submarine he's excellent in as well. So I was really happy to have met him, and we had a quick but pleasant chat. This was at London Film and Comic Con. She was a late announcement, but this was Sybil Kikeli, who played Shay in Game of Thrones, Tyrion's ex-prostitute's lover. She's German and speaks very little English, I believe. She certainly gave that impression, but she gave me a nice smile and thanked me for coming and was happy to pose for photos at the table. But yes, happy to have met her. And this was at the same London Film and Comic Con. This is Kate Dickie. This is her as, I'm never going to remember her character name. In Game of Thrones, she was Caitlyn's sister. Lived in the Egret. I'll put it on the screen. But Kate's a lovely person. We had a nice little chat. And a really talented actress as well. And happy to have met her. Unfortunately, she wasn't posting for photos at the time because she was really busy. But yes, happy to have met her. My camera battery's getting low, so I'll leave this part here. So thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in another video. Thanks, bye.